All right, it's one thing to be stuck on your ex, right? To have a hard time letting them go, putting them behind you, right? Finally severing that connection because your emotions are so tied to them. But it's another thing when you recognize I always wind up with people just like my ex. And you say, why do I keep doing this to myself, right? I'm going to tell you right now why you keep falling for the wrong people, even when you know better. The first big reason is you're addicted to familiar, even if it's toxic. See, whenever we seek love in other people, other humans, we're not just seeking the love, we're also seeking something that feels familiar to us, that we can recognize, that we can identify with, even if it's something that's unhealthy. So it's really easy to keep winding up in the same cycle or pattern of partners because it may be what you're used to, just simply put, right? So even though you know consciously, this person always gets me in trouble, you keep giving it another spin around the block because you say, well, this is what I gravitate towards, or this still feels right in some level. Let me see if it'll work this time. And the more you do this and you create this cycle and pattern of toxic relationships or painful breakups, it starts to become normal to you, right? It becomes the regular way of living. And here's where it gets deeper, especially if coming up when you grew up, chaos, inconsistency, and emotional unavailability was a normal thing, then it's going to feel right to you currently in new relationships, even when it's wrong for you, to where even though it's not what you really want, it's what your inner child's identity is tied to and understands as normacy. So you keep gravitating back towards the same people that can help you produce that same toxic experience. So the fix is to recognize your emotional patterns and start choosing the healthier options instead of choosing what feels familiar. The next reason is you're confusing chemistry with compatibility. Just because there's a spark between you and someone else doesn't mean they're the right person for you. Look, if you're coming from an unhealed space yourself anyways, right? You have some past traumas or wounds or things you haven't fully healed through or worked through, right? Then yeah, you're going to attract someone that probably has a similar experience or going through an equal level of pain or what have you. They're in the same frequency, right? So you attract what you are. So yeah, there's likelihood that you can find a spark with someone that's at the same level you're at or whatever, but it doesn't mean they're the healthiest person for you and doesn't mean you're the healthiest person for them. So that rush of excitement, anxiety, and unpredictability isn't actually love at all, right? It's not all this passion. It's actually a trauma response to where you're literally living and reliving a traumatic experience that your vessel internally, your subconscious has been trying to deal with and do something with to bring to a full peaceful space and a healed space. And it's trying to bring it out through these new relationships to try to get another chance to work at healing it again. And it's failing miserably because it doesn't have the proper awareness of what's going on, right? And so literally you start walking yourself into circumstances in an attempt to try to finally put that circumstance to rest from the past, and you don't realize it, and you wind up recreating the same thing you experienced before in a different version, right? To where even though that's a horrible idea of a cycle to go through, it feels familiar, right? It feels like something you're used to. It's a reverse engineered way or a very toxic way of meeting your need for certainty. See, understand and always remember, your mind and body only care about getting your needs met. It does not understand nor care about making you thrive. It only wants you to survive. It's not here to help you thrive. That is on you to be enlightened, be wise, and utilize your mental and physical faculties appropriately to meet your needs in the healthiest way. So when your mind and body is trying to get something taken care of, all it knows is to have you do stuff that makes sense to you, feels familiar, stuff that anything that can help that need get met. And so one of your 6 core needs is the need for certainty, to feel reassured and grounded and so forth. And so your mind and body don't know what the healthiest way to get that done is. It just knows whenever it's feeling like that need is being met. And so even in a toxic situation that consciously you and I and anyone else would know is not good for me and I don't really want that, if it feels familiar enough and it feels like something that brings you a sense of reassuredness because you at least know what you're working with, right? You ever heard the term, I'd rather, deal with the devil I know versus the one I don't, that kind of terminology, which is really someone saying, I'd rather deal with a situation that I know how to navigate because I have familiarity around that. I have a sense of certainty. I'm reassured that I know what to do here. I got my footing here, even though it's not a situation I want, versus a situation where it's completely foreign. It could have the potential to be better for me, but I'm not willing to explore that because there's too many unknowns. I don't feel safe and reassured in my ability to navigate it, right? And so I'm breaking this down in a conscious way, but this is not how we think about it consciously. This is the subconscious conversation going on, right? Because if you consciously thought about this, you would say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something different. But usually we're so motivated and driven off of what's going on under the hood versus what's going on up here in our temple. So look for consistency, emotional safety, and shared values, not just chemistry. I can't stress it enough. And the last major reason you keep choosing the wrong people is because you subconsciously believe love has to be hard, right? If you think love has to be, proven, earned, or chased, then you'll keep choosing people that will make it difficult to get that goal accomplished because you are on some level identifying with a belief, a narrative, a perspective that says it can't be that easy and that simple. There must be some difficult barriers to entry, right? Maybe you're tying the value and the significance of an amazing, loving relationship to difficulty because anything worth having takes work, right? And that's true, but it doesn't have to be painful work, right? And so if you really deep down believe, because maybe you've grown up never seeing a healthy relationship, maybe none of your friends around you has a healthy relationship, or maybe anytime you've seen most of the healthy relationships, it's been on TV or something, right? Or you see it once out of one couple out of every 30 in your world, it is really happy, great, and amazing. So you start to believe, no, this is just the way it is, right? And because my girlfriends or my fellas, they all go through the same difficulties as well. We all talk about it when we sit and get together about how hard it is and dating and all the things that you truly start to believe. If it's too easy, something's wrong, something's off, right? There's a catch here, right? Which in some respect we can say is accurate, but that's for another video. And there's a lot of nuance and different context to that. But simply put, if you have the wiring that says, I can't just be enough already coming in and be love worthy and be great, and someone else can see that in me and I see it in them, and then we start to, see if it makes sense and we work from there, right? If you don't have that belief, then you may start to easily believe, I have to meet someone, I have to show them and prove to them I'm that person because I wouldn't believe it if it was them walking up to me and all these things. And you craft this narrative that you are designed by rule. Your brain will give you exactly what you're asking for. If you're looking for a difficult experience to go get what you feel is required to make it real and make it a real loving, outcome and relationship and make it authentic, then it guarantee that you keep finding people that make it an uphill climb. A great example of this is if you are always or at least consistently attracted to people that make you question your own worth, it's a great opportunity to ask yourself, am I really attracted to them or am I really trying to prove something to myself? Meaning, am I trying to create this self-fulfilling prophecy? Am I trying to really validate my belief system around love and the difficulties that are required to have it be real and have it work out and all that? Or am I actually into this person? Because I can't see a world where I'm always attracted to someone that wants to reject me and my value, my worth, right? I can't see it. But if you find that you're always attracted to those kind of people that make you have to go fight for something, then you might be trying to prove something versus trying to actually get something out of them or with them. Instead of trying to build a relationship with them, you're really trying to validate a belief you want to have about yourself, that you've built yourself up enough and you're valuable enough to where someone's willing to choose you that maybe more often than not, you may think is out of reach or something, right? Or they represent this model or this standard of a man or of a woman that maybe back in high school or in your past would never look your way. And so if you can go and you can be with one of them because they're like the ideal of who you want to be with, then it means that, you finally arrived and done enough to earn the love that you feel you want to deserve. So the way you turn this around is you have to redefine love for yourself, right? Healthy relationships do not make you feel uncertain, anxious, or unworthy, right? If anything, they do the exact opposite. They make you feel extremely reassured and secure. They make you feel validated. They make you feel seen, right? They make you feel special. They make you feel extremely loved just for who you are, not for who you can try to be or try to become or what you can, work up into or all the things you can do. No, you, the vessel, you, the entity, you, the person, you, the identity is already enough. And you feel that from that other person. That's what a healthy, loving relationship is. And that's harmonious and more lighthearted and easy. It flows. It's not something you have to go break your back to have. Yes, it takes work to continue to be a healthy individual in a relationship and your partner to do the same because you're going to face challenges and all that. But the norm should not be difficult, right? That should be more at peace. Yes, you're going to run into roadblocks, but it shouldn't be a bumpy road 90% of the time. And you had those moments of highs, but you're usually always on guard and having to be on your P's and your Q's. That's just stressful. That's deteriorative. That's destructive to you. That's not build worthy. So identify your patterns, what feels familiar but isn't serving you. Start valuing consistency and effort over chemistry and chaos, and shift your mindset. Love is not something you have to earn. It's something you should feel safe in. And let's make sure we're clear on here, right? Yes, someone should have to earn the right for you to choose to love them, right? To want to be in love with them, right? And vice versa. But you should not have to become something you're not or be more than already who you are in order for them to love on you. If they're going to love you, they love the person that is in front of them, not an idealistic version that they can construct in their own mind about who you should be or who you need to be in order for them to love you. Because if they don't love you for who you are already as you are, then they're not your person in the first place. That's simply put. So if you need help really working through some of the challenges you may be facing to stop attracting or being attracted to the same kind of people that you already know don't really work for you, they never have and probably never will, then email or DM me the word coaching and we will get to work as long as you're truly ready to put that work in. If you're not ready for one-on-one coaching, don't have the time, the space, or maybe even the resources, then at least email or DM me the word revival to join my Relationship Revival Hub community where you can learn the same things I teach my clients one-on-one at your own pace on your own time. Either way, do something to get in the race. Let's get it, y'all.